And now what we're going to do is take one of the new oil seals. And again, anytime you put a seal in, you want to make sure that you cover it with the 90 weight oil. And we're going to take this and we're going to put the letters down towards the inside of the side cover, and we're going to push it with our thumb right into place. Now what we need to do is lubricate the side cover. And what we're going to do first is we're going to use our 90 weight here, and we're simply going to put it right through the radial bearing, right into the center, and run it through our clutch and needle bearing. And you could be very liberal with the amount of oil that you're going to use there. The next step is we're going to take the new lube and we're going to fill up the radial bearing, so the cage of the radial bearing is going to be filled. Okay? Now what we want to do is put the flyer back on the reel before we put the shaft in. So we're going to take that flyer, and don't worry about the orientation. We're going to line that up, and we're going to screw down the flyer just like you would do the lug nuts on your car. So you want to do opposing screws. Don't snug them all the way down until you have all the screws in place. And we'll then snug those up. So then we'll tighten them up. Now that we have all of those in place, you don't need to put any Loctite on these screws. Okay, we're all set. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slide the shaft in, and we're going to put the traverse guide back on the shaft. And because we put the new quad seal on, we want to apply some oil to the shaft. And then what we're going to do is slide this right through the body here, spinning it as we go so we don't compromise the new quad seal. And the way we know we put that quad seal in correctly is we're going to put our finger underneath the body here and lift up on the shaft. And if you did it correctly, the shaft gets sucked right back into the reel. Okay? So now let's put that traverse guide right on the bottom of the shaft. And the shaft has two flats on it that the traverse guide is going to slide into. So it's very simple to just slide the traverse guide up and onto the shaft. You're going to put the lock washer on it, and then we're going to thread the nut on. And then we're going to tighten that and snug that nut down. But remember, anytime you apply any pressure to the nut on this traverse guide, you want to make sure you hold on to both sides with your finger so it doesn't move around very much. Okay, and now this slides freely in and out of the body. Your traverse guide is reinstalled. Alright, now we're ready to lubricate the reel with the new lube. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply this into the two cavities next to the pinion gear. And we want to fill those two cavities all the way up and go up and in and around the pinion. We want to put a bead down each side of the body. And then we want to fill the reservoir here to below the shaft. We don't want to have the lube in here come up and actually touch the shaft because you don't want it binding into the sleeve guide. Alright, now it's time to reinstall the gear and the side cover into your reel. The first thing we have to do is apply a little of the lube onto the roller, which is found on the face of the gear. And what we're going to do without the side cover is we're going to move the elliptical shaped traverse guide into the center of the body, and we're going to tilt this gear in till it fits into the traverse guide. Now this is a critical step. You want to be very careful to ensure that that roller is in the traverse guide. And the way we're going to ensure that is we're going to apply a little pressure with your finger and turn the flyer around, and if it could go a full revolution, you know that that is correctly placed inside the traverse guide. Go nice and slow, and once we're comfortable that that's there, we're going to take the side cover plate and we're going to place it over the gear shaft. Now we're not going to thread it on yet. What we're going to do is we're going to go counterclockwise, and we're going to watch that that shaft goes up and down. If the shaft goes up and down and you could go one full revolution in reverse, we know we're into the traverse guide, and we could then turn around and thread it clockwise, and you don't have to worry about locking up your reel. Alright, now we've got the side cover on, and we just want to snug it down a little bit here with the wrench. So we're going to go in, turn it clockwise, and give it a nice snug. Now remember, you want to hold on to the foot and just tighten it down there. We're going to apply some of the new lube for a hydrophobic barrier right around the gear shaft. And what we're going to do is spin counterclockwise the handle hub onto the gear. And be careful not to cross thread that. Okay, the next step's going to be putting your spool back on. Okay? Put the spool on, apply some lube all around the top again for another hydrophobic barrier to protect your drag system, and we're going to thread the drag knob back on, and your reel has been serviced.